Hello and welcome back to the On the Slab Horror Show, the show that we bring to you each and every Friday night. Why Friday night, lads? Because Friday night's horror night.
Horror night.
I'm joined again by my two gracious co-hosts. We've got Carl King Woe. Carl, how are you?
All good, man.
We've got Ian the Dynamo Kelly.
Happy to be here.
And then we are joined tonight by the owner and runner of First Class Horror and Class Horror Cast, Mr. Aran Doyle. How are you, sir?
I'm very good. How are you guys? Thanks for having me on.
Well,
thanks for coming on.
Show, Aaron.
Nice to meet a fellow horror hound.
I know, that's how I feel.
That's actually in Ireland as well.
Yeah, I know, right?
So stupid o'clock to talk to.
It feels like we're a dying breed, or maybe we never even were there in the first place.
I think real horror.
We're creatures of the night, and what beautiful music we make.
Exactly. I just think we're all cranky fuckers, the ones that like proper horror.
Yeah, that's because we're usually up to stupid o'clock watching it.
Yeah.
Horror snobs, yeah.
Aaron, do you want to give us a bit of a rundown about yourself, what you like, what you dislike, what you do?
Well, I started off as a blog in 2013. After about 6 months, I partnered with Eli Roth's Crypt TV. I was doing editorial work for them and different things like that. From there, then I was on and off about it. Like I never really knew what I wanted to do. And it was only since the whole this whole pandemic COVID situation, I actually had the time to sit down and really figure out what it was I wanted to do. And I love podcasts. The more podcasts I can listen to, there's not enough hours in the day, basically.
Yeah.
And then I was like, it's something I'd like to do. And I kind of fell into the podcasting, I think, through just wanting my own questions answered. And then it just kind of spiraled from one to the other. The first person I interviewed was Eduardo Sanchez, the writer-director of Blair Witch. And then it just kind of went from there. I've had William Malone, who done House on Haunted Hill 99, Fear.com. I interviewed Ted Nicolau there last week. He's done Ghoulies, TerraVision, all that sort of stuff.
What a movie.
Yeah, and it's just kind of, it's one of them things now. It's just sort of spirals, and I'm loving it. I don't know if I'll go back to blogging and writing articles again. I think I much prefer having a chat with somebody.
Yeah.
Aaron, what's your favorite? You mentioned a couple of modern ones there. In terms of, if you've watched our show, you'll know myself and Carl in particular, with Greg also. We're kind of we're a little bit older, so we kind of grew up watching a lot of the tail end of the 80s stuff, where we were actually in the video shop in the horror section just looking for those cool ass covers, which I saw you posting a couple up on Instagram there. And I was like, oh yeah, I need to go back and watch that movie. I think Skin Mask or something was one that popped up, and I was like, oh shit, I haven't seen that in years. But like, when you interview, say, modern directors versus like older kind of 80s, I suppose is older now at this point. Do you find a difference in terms of their viewpoint on horror? Like, because the modern stuff can be kind of construed as maybe cheap thrills kind of thing, whereas the older ones kind of are a little bit more plot and methodical, I think.
Yeah, and I definitely feel that. I wouldn't say I ask a lot of the same questions, but there's times where I want to get everybody's take on a certain topic, and I had asked a lot of questions around them. I personally feel like that there's something, I keep calling it the magic horror. Like, I think of certain movies in certain eras where I'm like, I feel like it just felt different, and every time I go back and watch it, it hasn't lost that for me. But then I watch more modern movies and I'm like, it just doesn't have that thing.
If a modern one has it, it's going to be very, very good.
Yeah.
There's not many of them. Now there's a couple that are coming out now that I'm interested to see. Antlers and Black Fawn being the two. And then one of the lads said One Night in Soho, or Last Night in Soho, is very good. So
yeah, so I've heard. But I would say, you see, I think talking with anybody from the modern day, or whatever you want to call it, and that are maybe still like very active with studios and stuff, they play their cards very close to their chest, and you get very everything is very PC and everything is very Whereas some of the older guys who were maybe like William Malone, for example, some of the stories he told me, I don't think somebody who is still technically like a working director on huge movies right now would ever come out with. So you can definitely tell there's a little bit of I don't want to say an agenda, but there's definitely more
formula.
Conscious of this cancel culture, and oh geez, I don't want to say this, and I don't want to.
Yeah, like you'll have a lot of the modern guys obviously still have a pony in the race, so they're kind of going to be towing the company line, so to speak. But then you've got directors like, say, John Carpenter, who's my number one, who has never given a shit what he says. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
that's
and evident in the latest Halloween as well, where they don't give a shit about who they kill. So it's kind of like
we got into the cancel culture bit of that on that episode anyway.
We certainly did. You can't cancel a good thing.
No.
Hey, Aran, what was your take on the latest Halloween?
I actually still don't really know how I feel.
Really?
Must just be us then, lads.
I think so.
I will say, right, I really wanted to love it, and maybe I wanted to love it so much that it was never actually going to be as good as I had. And maybe that's what the problem was. I had like
that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, and I think that's why then when I came out of it, I was kind of at first I was like, But I done the same with the 2018 movie. I kind of went into it. I don't really know what I was expecting. And then it was like I came out of it and I was like, yeah, it was all right. And then when I watched it a couple more times, I was like, actually, no, wait, that's a decent movie.
I had 2 years of Ted Big.
I was going to say that. I was going to say that because I think, like, for me as a Halloween fanatic as well, I think we've been given so much Halloween over the years that it was kind of hard to kind of separate what had come before it, and kind of differentiate what the whole idea was. So I think now, if you were to actually sit down and watch, which I've done over the weekend, by the way, watch the first one, watch 2018, and then watch this one. If you do that, and then you watch it the second time, I mean, it's like listening to an album, isn't it? You're not going to love it there's certain albums, in music that you listen to once and you go, I kind of like it, but I don't know. It's like you said, I want to love it, but then you go 2, 3, 4 times and you go, oh shit, now I get it. You know what I mean? And I think if you do that with these 3 movies and put it in timeline, I think when the next one comes out, and I think when we look back,
toys it all up.
Yeah, I say when we look back at this in 10 years, we'll forget about everything that came before. We'll still love it because obviously it's Halloween and it doesn't matter what they put out. But I think when you just look at it for this timeline, much like in the Marvel universe or whatever, and you just stick to that timeline, you'll be like, oh, okay, this was good.
It's kind of evident though for the likes of me and Carl, who weren't major big players in the Halloween game, for it to change the opinion that much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like that for me was everything I wanted Michael to be.
Same.
Yeah.
But like I had 2 years of Ted bigging up to 2018 when I only watched that at the start of the year. Do you know what I mean? Knowing that this one was coming out, so I was like, all right, I'm all in now.
Good man, Ted.
Yeah.
Shout out to Ted.
And that's the timeline that I'm gonna show Kerry, because I know Kerry's seen the first one. Yeah. She hasn't seen any other ones yet, so I'm gonna show her 2018 kills and then ends. So and then we'll look at the rest.
Oh yeah, because you got to look at the rest.
Three and 4 anytime.
I love 3. I don't know how you feel about that, Aran. I love 3.
Aaron, talk to me about 3. I think it's a very underrated movie.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, the Silver Shamrock.
My man. Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I love that movie. You know what? Actually, since Kills, and just obviously they had Easter eggs and little things dribbled in there, and I was like, you know what? I know they'll put it to bed after Ends, but I do have a sneaking suspicion that if it does well again, that there's going to be potential to have some sort of a Halloween 3-esque spin-off.
Follow-up kind of thing or something,
yeah. I think and maybe let them keep the rights and keep within the Halloween realm, and then let it marinate for a couple of years, and then maybe go back to some sort of a Michael something.
Yeah.
Well, don't forget, Aaron. Don't forget. I mean, fucking didn't John Carpenter was involved in that? You know what I mean? They were his actors. You know what I mean? They were all his actors.
I only watched that again the other day, and man, it's so good.
It was his interview, wasn't it? There a while ago, I was reading where he said that was a plan, that they were going to make 4 or 5 of those kind of movies that had nothing to do with Michael, and it got so badly received that people were protesting. That's why 4 was called The Return of Michael Myers.
But
people couldn't do it. For me, I always found it that they were trying to piggyback off the name, but when you watch it as a standalone movie, it's brilliant.
It's unreal.
It is. It's kind of like just talking about timelines. It's like I remember when people assumed it was a remake of The Thing that came out, and I was kind of like,
the 12 one or something.
Yeah, 2012 one. But I remember during lockdown, like Aran was talking about, I actually, I was kind of I was off work technically, as we all were, and I watched both of them in synchronization. So I watched the 2012 one and followed it up with the 19. Jesus Christ, my brain's gone. What 1980?
82 was it? 86.
82, yeah. 82. Followed it up with that, and it was like, then it all made sense, and I was like, this actually isn't too bad. You know what I mean? Because certain movies are made for that, aren't they? Like,
and that newer one ends where the first one picks up, doesn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. So now it makes sense why the dogs run away. I mean, we learned that very early in the film, but it's kind of like, it's nice to know what happened beforehand. You know what I mean? So,
but even what we were actually doing it when we covered the thing on the previous episode, where we were saying, and I was watching it for the first time. I'd already watched the original one, and then went to see that one. And when you see the axe in the wall, I was like, "Oh shit!" Everything just kind of links in, and you're like, "Oh my god!"
It's great. It's genius. Yeah. Genius. Well, let's get into the meat and gravy, Greg.
Yes.
Right. So, Aran, we bring you on for a top 10 of your favorites. You said you're going off the cusp. I don't believe you.
Well, I am. There's a little bit of a curveball. So, I purposely done this anyway. So I picked 10 or so films that I love rewatching. Might not necessarily be my favorite. I would call them probably guilty pleasures or comfort horror that I can.
I have a few of them.
Over and now, nearly every horror film is like that for me. But I wanted to pick some ones that I feel like might be a little bit controversial, just so I can have.
I like where you're going here, because I'm like that. Sometimes I have those favorite movies. Like, I'll sit down sometimes just randomly if I have nothing to watch, and I'll just watch Maniac Cop 1, 2, and 3. You know what I mean? It'll be like, why are you doing that? Well, because I want to.
I'd be the same with the Wrong Turn collection, which I mention every episode.
You're wrong.
You're wrong.
I think one of my guilty pleasures is Tourist Trap. I love that film.
Very good movie.
I love it.
Quite underrated.
I love the Sleepaway Camp movies, personally.
Sleepaway Camp is class.
Yeah.
I love those movies.
What was it? Was it a Slumber House Horror or Slumber House Massacre or something?
Yeah.
Yeah,
you got there, Aran?
That's awesome. That is awesome.
I actually have the really hard to get Anchor Bay, the survival kit Sleepaway Camp.
Not deadly.
No way.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to bring you on for a
collector's
edition. Your own version of Collector's Corner here.
Yeah, sound.
Definitely. Definitely. I want an invite to the house, and I promise I won't rob you.
Yeah, we'll do a podcast from here.
Yeah,
from here, live from
what happens? What happens? Dynamo kills Aran Doyle live on podcast. Steals his shit.
No, but that's not stealing. That's winning.
It's compromise.
It's borrowing.
He didn't want to let me have it, so I killed him and took it.
Right, Aran, kick us off there with a film. Yeah.
There'll be no killing. The only thing I want to see killing tonight now is Darren killing his list. So,
let's see. So first, I'm going to go with Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2003.
Yes, sir. Yes.
See, I called you Darren for a reason. I knew that you would come up with something that would piss Carl off. So, Aran, I apologize. But I'm actually glad you've done that, because the look at Carl's face right now.
Have I split the room already?
Carl's favorite one is the original one.
It's the only one, in my opinion.
Not the only one. The 2003 one's better.
No.
Well, number 2 is pretty awesome too. I'm just gonna say that.
Is our boat wrong?
I think it is.
Carl, we know my reason as to why I hate the original one.
Yeah.
Well, let Aran.
Let's talk. Yeah.
I'm just interested now. Why so? Why do you not like the 2003 one so much?
I don't like any of them outside the original. Just none of them, and that's the only film that way.
He's a loyal pony. That's what.
Like I can watch other remakes and reboots and rehashes and reshits and all, but like just the original for me of that film, because that and American Werewolf in London are my favorite horror films. So you don't touch them in any way, shape, or form, and that's just me, you know.
So that's fair.
Right. So I'll pose another question to you then. This is going to be a difficult one. So you can only watch one of these two movies for the rest of your life. Either Texas Chainsaw 2013 or Texas Chainsaw 2003.
2003 probably.
That for you was like just bad and worse.
Yeah. If I had to, it'd be like,
oh. I never thought about that. Now that's actually a really good question.
Yeah. Thanks, Aran.
3, definitely 3.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. It's got to be. Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. I mean, the how they did Leatherface wasn't the worst.
Mm-hmm.
It's just everything around that.
It's been the best one since the original.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that.
You know.
Yeah. 100%.
Like the depiction of the original Leatherface, though, even though he doesn't say anything in the film, and he never says anything in the films except a squeal or a snort or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It was just special. You know, timeless in my opinion.
Like
it is, but I'm still gonna give love for the 80s number 2. So
was it number 3 that they done? They took the piss out of Breakfast Club with the cover.
That was 2.
Oh, 2. Sorry, 2. Yeah. But no, like I've said it on a few shows. The original one for me is perfect up until you see the zombie granddad or the 200-year-old granddad come down. I'm like, it doesn't make any sense.
It's not meant to make sense.
It's horror, but like it doesn't.
But it's supposed to be based on a true story. Do you know what I mean?
Not every single aspect of it, Greg. Come on now.
But in the 70s, people probably thought there could be a fucking 200-year-old granddad. I mean, some people.
But he was dead at one stage.
I grew up believing that vampires are real. For God's sake,
they are real.
I know.
Aran, I'm gonna call you a time bomb. That's what I'm gonna call you. You've just popped it in there and just blown the slab right open. I love it.
Aran has left the chat now, and the 3 lads are killing each other.
If that's gonna do it, Jesus, I don't even want to go down through this list.
Oh, I'm dying for this now.
We're all in here.
But, yeah, I don't know whether I just have love for that movie because I think originally saw that before I seen the original in its entirety.
Well, that can be a factor.
Yeah, and there's a bit of nostalgia there for it, but
that makes sense.
Yeah, I definitely feel like it probably would be more well received if, let's say, it wasn't a Texas Chainsaw film.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it might have been more well received if Michael Bay hadn't put his name to it either.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of.
It did have that lovely Jessica Biel in it, though.
It did, yeah, it did.
That's one good thing about
it. Right, instead of getting dragged down into this one before Carl blows the gasket, we'll move quickly on.
Before I get a lawsuit against my network name, let's go on to the next one.
The next one I had chosen was Joyride or Roadkill.
No, the Paul Walker one. Oh no.
Against the World.
Oh no.
This one, I'm afraid.
Just no.
No love for this at all.
Do you know what? I remember.
I remember not loving it, and obviously, if when you come on again, you can give me advanced notice of these, so I can at least go back and watch it. So I'm not gonna throw you under the bus completely yet, but judging by Carl and Greg's reaction, and them knowing how I am, I have the feeling that they probably think
you're 100% not gonna like it.
No.
I remember buying this in Extravision for a $5, and I walked straight back over after watching it and traded it in for 50 cents. I didn't even want it in my collection. I was like, no, I'm out.
What do you like about Aran? Tell us.
Yeah.
So I hate Paul Walker. I hate the guy that plays the brother.
Rest in peace, by the way, of course.
Yeah. I hate the chick. I basically hate nearly everything about any of the characters in the movie. I just love those, what would you call it, a road movie or whatever. I love that whole setup, and there's like
hiker kind of road, yeah.
Yeah, and there's same as like I like the Hitcher, the original. I like the
love it.
Sean Bean, 2007 Hitcher. So I like that kind of style of movie. Same as Jeepers Creepers. I like the idea of driving across the open road in the States. Yeah. I think that's the only thing that really draws me to it is just the style of movie it's trying to be. I hate the characters. There's a lot of things wrong with it that just there's like stupid, like the scene where they go in nude into the diner and all. I'm just like, what the fuck? This is just stupid. But I think that's the only reason that I watch it every now and again. It's one of those ones like I'm like, oh, there's nothing to watch. I'm like, let me see.
It's an easy watch.
Yeah. I'll just kind of put it on and I'm like not paying attention.
To be fair, Aaron, like I actually think as well, I'm still waiting on that perfect road movie because I'm the same. Like I have a love for like that road movies. The Hitcher, personally.
Yeah.
I would say the original one. The Sean Bean one's pretty good as well. He's badass in it. But
you knew he was gonna die. I know the original one, but like
but the original one,
Sean Bean is something he's dead.
Yeah, Sean Bean.
Yeah.
No, but I thought the original one is probably my favorite kind of that. But you're right. I think there's a lot of potential for a really good one to be made from that. You know what I mean? Because everyone went with the webcam one, the film footage, and stuff like that. It's like I've always been a fan of the, and I hope you have one of these in your list. Actually, I've always been a fan of the writer going away to the camp to write a story or something. You know what I mean? Like, I love
like 1408 and things like that.
Yeah, well, I wasn't going to suggest that now, but I was going to say more like Salem's Lot or something.
Oh yeah,
like
yeah.
I love that idea of like a writer going away. Like one of my favorite video games was even Alan Wake. You know what I mean?
What a game that was.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I love stuff like that because there's something really creepy about being out somewhere on your own or being in a dark town with a bit of a dodgy past or, you know, the unknown of it. So I like why you've chosen that movie because I can see why you like that kind of the road movies because you really don't know what's going to happen. Like,
the same as The Hills of Ice is another one that I know is technically not, but that
it kind of is.
Yeah, like that kind of vibe. I like that.
Yeah. Atmosphere. 100%.
We'll go quickly on from that one.
Another one, I'm not sure if this will divide the room or not. The Blair Witch Project.
Love it.
Oh, it's good. I like it. I went to see it in the cinema on my own.
Told you to be in there, lads.
Yeah.
I was in there 15 years of age because I was trying to be a badass in front of my family in Blanchard cinema. They went to see some jabroni film. I don't know what it was. And I was like, well, I'm going to go and see it on my own because I'm of age. So I'm going to see it. And I remember going in and not really thinking a whole lot of it at the time because I was expecting, you know, exorcist scares because of how it was built up and stuff. But now when I can watch it, you know, with adult eyes and adult brain.
I always tell people if they haven't seen it, it's a one watch film to really enjoy it, you know. And if you don't tell anybody, like I don't know, you've seen Kerry, my daughter, is watching horror films with me now, and she's seen most decent films. She hasn't seen Blair Witch yet, but I keep telling her like that. You'll only watch it once. Well, I only watch it once because you know exactly what's going to happen the next time. And it kind of, if you watch, and it's not a film you can watch multiple times, but when you do watch it, it's just amazing.
Well, it builds up to that last kind of scene, doesn't it? And that's
last 10 minutes, yeah.
You know, and that's where you're like when you see him in the corner, and because they've done such a great marketing job at the time, because I remember, and Carol, you'll remember this too. Greg, you may or may not. You're old enough.
99, wasn't it?
Yeah. So
I was only 9.
Fair enough. But I remember like Sky One was running like a thing that because they had marketed like that it was, and you've had a director on your show, Aaron, but the way they marketed it was so brilliant because I remember they were on the Big Breakfast, if you remember that show.
Oh yeah.
No. I used to be on in the morning. So like when you're a kid, you're like, I need to see this movie because they were talking about it was a real story of witches in the woods, and they kind of took that whole kind of Salem witch trials and made it their own. I thought so. It was all around. It was just well played, like from the movie, but from the if you could put yourself back in with the marketing of this story as well, that this was really true. A witch would lead them into this place in the woods, and It make them stand in the corner and stuff like that. So that's when I marked out basically at the end when I saw them standing there really quickly, and you're like, oh shit.
Mm-hmm.
I remember we were showing it in third year in school as part of English.
I watched Ben fucking Hur. What's the story with that?
I had a better school than you did.
I was in the Catholic boys' school, I suppose. Nothing happened other than watching Ben.
But we got shown it in third year, and from then on, I was just like, yeah. So like I watched, because we only had 40-minute class, I had to watch it one day, and the second day, after I watched the first half, and I was like, I'm going home to rent that out.
That's what it means to you, Aran.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with I could only ever watch it, I think, once that way. And then all the subsequent rewatches have just been because I fell into the lore, and then all this extra stuff that was created, comics, books, stories. There's actually movie. Give me a second, because that's somewhere here as well. There's one of the guys who worked on the movie, I can't remember his name now off the top of my head, but basically he has a site at the minute, and he's creating like this entire prequel about the whole Ellie Kedward character and how she became a witch. And I got really into that then, because there's a storyline that follows her from Cork the whole way through Ireland. She ends up in the dungeons of Wexford. There's they get attacked by Vikings. The dungeons are burnt out. She disappears on a boat and ends up in the States. And there's this whole big thing. And that's kind of what keeps me, I think, interested now, is all the lore that was created. And then I try, don't get me wrong, every time I do put it on, I do try and like put myself back in that situation. Yeah. Right, okay, I don't know anything, or what would I do if this was me? And that's always going to be one for me. I think that we'll just have that top 5 slots on it.
It's got everything in it that you want from a gripping atmospheric horror. It really does.
Yeah.
Am I the only one that could actually watch that over and over, because you hear different things every time?
But that's it. Yeah, you do, and you kind of find these little nuances, and I think that's kind of what Aaron was saying. Like, you find so many different nuances. Me personally, I can't put myself in that, because the only thing in the woods of America that would scare me is Sasquatch, not some fucking ghost. So, I can't watch it again, but I appreciate.
Technically, some people count them as ghosts, so.
Well then, but it's not a witch. Also, bears.
Funny, actually, you mentioned Sasquatches and stuff. I can't remember.
There's not been a good enough movie. I hope you say that. There's been some good ones, but I need a great one.
There's the director of Blair Witch, Eduardo Sanchez. He done a good one, a decent one in 2014 called Exists.
I've seen it. Yeah.
That's decent, but something I didn't know about Sasquatch/Bigfoot that terrified me that I found out yesterday. So apparently, like, guys who are big into this and believe in cryptids and all that stuff, a lot of them believe that these Sasquatches or whatever I can't remember what he called it. Something it tried to imitate human speech.
Oh, they do. Yeah,
I can't remember the name of what he called it. It's something that they do, and like I don't know what the story was. Like, was it some YouTube documentary? And he played audio of apparently a Sasquatch replicating a human's voice and then screaming. And I have to say, it was one of the most horrifying things I've ever heard.
Dude, the clip you're talking about has been on my the guy who recorded it back in the 70s was on my show, Ron Moorhead.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, he was on Dynamo Dozen previously. Yeah, like these guys, I mean, I've had some pretty big Sasquatch researchers on my show thus far, and more to come, and that's kind of what is making me starting to go, oh shit, like, this is whatever about shape shifting and all that kind of stuff. I personally believe it's just a big fucking thing that's gonna crush your bones. I don't care about all this ghost stuff and all, but it's scary as hell when you hear that. It's like, I think I'd rather watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2013 from the comfort of my own bed, please.
Right, we'll move on so we don't segue away too far.
I would put Blair Witch 2 as an audible mention in there. Now, right, I will say I absolutely despised that film for a long time. But after researching a lot of what went on with that movie, I kind of can appreciate what he was trying to do, in the sense of he didn't really want it to be necessarily a continuation. I like where he was going with trying to expand the lore in the universe, but ultimately it just sort of, I think that's the only reason I don't watch that half as much, but when I do jump back in, I think it's just because I feel like we don't have enough in the Blair Witch world, and I'm like, oh, I'll just take it.
Are you just trying to pay him props because he's been on your show? Tell the truth.
No, this was somebody, they actually didn't agree to do a sequel. But they wanted to do a prequel, and the studio were like, no, we don't want a prequel, we want a sequel. So they just found anybody, and I can't remember it. The guy who done it is a documentary filmmaker. He's quite popular as far as I remember, and he agreed to do it. But then I was listening to his director's commentary, and he said that they basically just fucked with the film. What he had wanted to do, all they wanted was just like scary witch movie. We don't care.
Try and make some money.
Yeah. We're like, we don't really care about lore, or you trying to create some.
Joe Berlinger was his man's name, wasn't
it? Yes, that's it.
It's kind of similar to what they done with the Conjuring stuff, isn't it? Like they didn't want to take what the Warrens were actually doing, and they wanted to make it Hollywood.
Whereas the two offset movies from them were absolutely diabolical.
Mm-hmm.
Annabelle and the Nun, and then there's the other one. The other one that's coming out now is the Tall Man or the Crooked Man or whatever it's called. Going to be, yes.
Anyway,
right, we'll move on because we'll run out of time here.
Another one or two that I would include probably in the same, just as one. I don't know if anyone actually considers this horror or not, but The Mummy and The Mummy Returns.
The original ones? Or no, the Brendan Fraser ones?
Yeah. Just as movies I love putting on.
They're great movies, but I wouldn't class them as horror, but I can understand
the terminology of it.
Yeah, and the enjoyment though. They're great fun. They're great fun.
Yeah. Not scary. Wouldn't necessarily class them as horror per se, other than the fact that it's just called The Mummy.
Yeah, well, the Universal bought right into that, didn't they? Trying to rebrand it. When they done that, they tried to move away from the old Universal movies and tried to bring it that way.
Well, the really ride is scary. The ride is scary in Orlando.
Yeah, the ride's good, isn't it? Burn your eyebrows off you.
Go backwards.
Very, very good. So much so that
Imhotep.
Imhotep. He was so good as Imhotep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely.
Actually, there's a podcast for the future we could do, showing off our horror tattoos.
Yeah.
Ian, get in the chair.
Yeah.
All I've got is I have a horrifying tattoo, but it's not of anyone.
So what's next, Aran?
Next, I would go for Freddy versus Jason.
Oof.
Like these are, like I said, controversial. Mightn't be the greatest movies, but I do just love the fact that even the title, like something like Freddy Krueger and Jason, where he's been in the same movie. Again, I have so many issues with different things they've done. But the fact that movie even got made to me is just something that'll just make me go back to it, because I'm like, this is what
market moment. Like,
like it's just.
I have a soft spot for that film. I have to say.
It feels so iconic.
Yeah.
For horror fans, it was unbelievable to see the two crossover. But if you go and watch that as an outright movie, it's fucking awful.
My missus loves that movie, believe it or not.
I like it.
Like,
I like The Nightmare is my favorite
franchise
thing, but like
here's a question, quick shoot off the cuff. Who were you up for, and who did you want to win?
Jason.
Freddy.
Fuck Jason.
Yeah, well, I'm not a paedophile supporter, so I wanted Jason to win.
Technically, in the original one, they never say he was a
pedophile. Fucking gotchas. Yes, sir.
Technically, they never actually say he's a paedophile in the first one. They just say he's a child killer.
Yeah, but they don't say it, but you know he is.
No, well,
I love
the second one and the new one. They said that.
I love in that film at the very end, the ending scene, you know, where Jason's walking out of the water with the head, and the music and all, and just the way it's filmed. I think that's fucking cool. I love that.
Yeah.
And then all you get is the
wink. Yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
How happy were you to see Kelly Rowland get fucked up in that movie?
A lot.
So happy.
Jesus, she's a terrible actress,
isn't she?
Terrible singer.
I love how they gave her the death they gave her as well. Is like he didn't just like cut her in half or anything. When he hit her with the thing, she went flying across the screen.
Yeah.
It's like he doesn't hit her with the blade; he hits her with the middle of it and sends her into a tree.
Yeah, I'm with Freddie on that one as well. It's kind of like when it's
that death scene still gets me
into the foot. I was like,
yes. Like Lynch.
Oh, stop! Straight into the Achilles. Oh no!
It was beautiful.
Yeah,
couldn't happen to a
good show. Good show.
Yeah.
What we got?
We'll try and run these ones off a little bit quicker because we'll be about 4 hours at this stage.
Next up, Creep.
It's good though.
Creep from 2004.
Anyone? Is that the one in the London Underground?
Yes.
I'm a fan.
What a movie! What a movie!
I liked it.
I picked this one up by mistake.
Same.
It was actually my dad that picked it up because you remember they'd go down to GameStop and you just buy like, 5 DVDs for like 20 quid or whatever. My dad brought this one back and we're like, oh, this sounds good. And we put it on. I remember going, shit, this is actually one of the good ones.
So well made. Especially like the main actress in it hadn't really done much.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't thing. Have you seen it, Carl?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like the creature in it was brilliant.
Very, very good.
It was so well done, and the fact that when I go to London, I have to use them stations. I'm like, I've been here before.
Yeah, just everything about that worked for me. The atmosphere, I think, is really good as well. How when you're watching it, like you can nearly feel the isolation and the fact that she is locked down here alone with like, a couple of junkies and whatever.
Yeah,
and
that poor
I kind of like every time I watch it, I'm like, fuck, what would I do if that is the case? Now, I know that I would definitely not walk down any fucking dark tunnels and train tracks, regardless.
I would stand at the gate all night.
Till morning. Yeah, 100%.
Back into a corner.
If you were an 80s child, you'd know that from watching Ghostbusters. You know what I mean?
Go down there.
That's another great setting for a film, is a subway or
Yes.
Yeah.
An abandoned subway. Like, Just a quick honourable mention, even though it's kind of more kids or whatever, but even that scene in Ghostbusters 2 when they're on the very underground on the old tracks.
Yeah, and the train comes.
Yeah, trying to find the source of the slime, and obviously he's just like, the train goes right through him. Awesome. Good shout though, Aaron.
That death scene, the junkie girl, was just awful.
Oh, it's grim. Yeah, it's grim.
Oh, it's bad.
Yeah, I have to say that movie in whole is pretty gritty, and I don't think it gets enough love. Anyone that's listening to this that hasn't seen it, don't even really research it. Just go in completely blind.
I'm actually going to watch it now in bed after this. Yeah,
it's very, very
savage. Good. But like again, there's a couple of them horror tropes in there where they have the chance to finish it. And just don't.
It'll be a short film then. That's
so good though. So good.
Next.
Hellraiser 3, Hell on Earth.
Okay.
I like it. I'm a fan of
it. Why, my friend? Why?
I like all the Hellraiser movies for different reasons. A lot of times I just like him for some of the iconic quotes that Pinhead gives and just some of the cool imagery with him. That's kind of what I rewatch him for now.
Yeah.
And that one, like, I love the scenes in that one where he's stuck in the Pillar of Souls. When the guy that nightclub owner guy buys the pillar and he's talking shit to him through the pillar, and then there's one scene where he shoots at him and then he spits all the bullets out one by one and he's like talking to him, whatever. Just little things like that. Like I do think that Pinhead and that whole Hellraiser franchise could have been done way better than it was. Yeah, but there's definitely, if you were to just pull up on YouTube, Pinhead best quotes or whatever iconic scenes, there's some really, really cool stuff there. In the church at the altar and different things like that.
What do you make of the fact that Pinhead's going to be played by a female now?
I won't watch it.
Not sold on it, to be honest with you.
No.
Well, you're probably going to be surprised with this now, but I think wasn't Pinhead like he's a shape?
Was a female.
Yeah. So it's probably going back to more of the source
material. It's going back to the stage show.
No, but the problem with this one, it's political and for political reasons. You know what I mean? They'll use that. Do you know what I mean? So therefore, I'm out. with that.
Yeah.
I suppose if we knew that they were going to do it for the right reasons, I suppose.
Yeah, like, do you know what I mean? If it was done for the right reasons, I'm all in. But like, if it's done, you know what I mean? It'd be like if they done Candyman too, no, but it's a black woman. So
a white man.
I'm surprised they didn't go down that route, actually. But
I'm not getting into that debate on
a white man called Candyman.
No, but you know what I mean. It's just one of those things where I feel it's political, and we're putting a female in a position.
Kind of like if they made Ghostbusters with all females.
Yeah, imagine.
Yeah, look how that worked out. You know what I mean? But no,
and I feel like this will be the same. It'll have the same fate. I don't think people will watch it, but I can guarantee you that from a studio standpoint, if there was ever any executives who are involved in that listening to this somehow, this is not going to work.
Yeah. No, don't do it.
Not going to work. Next, House on Haunted Hill, the 99.
One we covered on Retrotainment back in June. If you haven't seen it, go check that episode out.
Just love it. It's just the nostalgia, just the whole, the house, the setting, the scares, some of the stuff. And again, that was another one that I went deep into, like the lore behind, like Dr. Vannicut and all the mental hospital and all that stuff. I like that setting as well. I do love that mental asylum kind of thing. Love that movie. I just think it's fun to just stick on every now and again.
I love the original one as well, man.
Very good.
Price one,
it's actually when you go back and watch that. We actually watched that about 3 days before Halloween. I showed Rachel, and when you see your one just coming forward, and they have that little pit, you know what I mean? Like the little, you think it's acid because it's black and white, like, but it's just literally a pool of water. But like when you see that thing coming forward, you're like, oh shit! And I think Vincent Price, isn't it? It's gonna. His kind of reaction where he's like, he's such a prick to the wife, you know what I mean? You're not sure what the dynamic is there between the two. I know you're talking about the 99 one. I just always loved the black and white one, but the 99 one was awesome too.
Well, that's where like I kind of got my love from the original, but then when they did bring that one out, I was actually I was a little bit skeptical at first. I was like, oh fucking hell, this is going to be one of those things now. But I actually did enjoy it. I wouldn't say it's better, but it's fun and enjoyable. They didn't completely ruin it.
Yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying. I think they've done a decent job of kind of not butchering it, you know?
Yeah.
What else you got for me?
House of a Thousand Corpses.
Oh, Rob Zombie.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Look at
genius.
Rob Zombie, when he sticks to doing his own things and doesn't remake movies, it's good, isn't it?
Yeah, so Rob Zombie is one of my favorite directors just because, and you had mentioned about John Carpenter before as well. What I like about Zombie is he is him in everything he does. Mm-hmm. And I can even, to be honest with you, I actually even had it down here as well. His Halloween Part 1, I actually don't mind watching that now. As a Halloween purist or whatever, it does irk me in a lot of ways, but the one thing I have to give him props on is that movie, what you got was Rob Zombie's Halloween. I will say that much for him. You didn't get, studio version, whatever.
No, he made it his own. He made it his own.
Yeah, and I respect that about it, that he just went, I'm going to take this hugely popular franchise and could potentially just sell out and do what I'm told. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to rip up the notes every day and just make my own film. And it probably won't work, but sure, whatever.
Yeah, well, he puts his stamp on everything, doesn't he? Whatever he does is his.
You can nearly tell it's his. Yeah.
100%.
That's what I like about him.
Any more other ones before we could?
Halloween 6, the Carson Michael Myers, Halloween H2O, Halloween Resurrection.
You love Halloween, so.
Yeah.
You're a man of my own heart, yeah. Can we get an honorable mention, Aran, somewhere in there, just as a John Carpenter thing? Can we get honorable mention in there for The Fog somewhere?
Oh, it's so good. So good. I love basically everything John Carpenter, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean,
like I've said on previous episodes, I was a Wes Craven guy growing up, but I have thoroughly switched allegiances.
Yeah,
haven't gone back and watched a lot of stuff, even not his horror stuff.
Even Prince of Darkness, man. Greg, if I was you, go and watch Prince of Darkness. Another great movie, because it's very much in the vein of Big Trouble in Little China, which is one of your favorite movies.
Honestly, if I'm going to watch a John Carpenter movie tonight, it's going to be Big Trouble in Little China.
You know what I'm saying? Do watch Prince of Darkness.
Oh yeah, I will. I have it. It's on one of the playlists there to watch.
They're all so goddamn good. Even when you look at his early stuff, I believe he had that movie. I can't remember the name, but Aaron, you might be able to get it off the top of your head. It's one of his early movies, but it's more of a thriller where it's a girl basically who lives in an apartment and there's a creep looking across from a different apartment, basically calling her phone. He's a stalker, and it's like it's really really atmospheric. God damn it! And it was one of those made for TV movies as well. I'll definitely find the name of it, and I think it might be. It's not Night Stalker.
It's not. It's not. He's watching me. Somebody.
It's Somebody's Watching Me. That's the one. I think it's Somebody's Watching Me, or He's Watching Me. It's something along those. He's on the phone, looking terrified. It is absolutely phenomenal. I remember I got it.
Someone's watching me.
Yeah, someone's watching me. There you go. So I'm glad yes, one up to the kid. I remember being really, really lucky and finding that movie on YouTube because it was really hard to find. Someone put up a copy of it and then it was gone. But that's, you know what I mean? This guy for me is the GOAT.
And even still, man, the score for Halloween Kills.
Oh,
very cool.
Still,
yeah.
And what a thing to get Ghost in to do the tune for them as well. Like that Ghost song is perfect because it tells the story.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, yeah, I love everything about it. Carl,
please.
Yes, you have you had an interesting list, I must say, Aaron.
Yeah, I tried to pick some obscure things that I know a lot.
I liked it. Yeah, absolutely.
He leaves me wanting more, and he leaves me wanting to talk to him more. So
that'll be for another episode, lads, because we could go on all night.
We could go on all night. Yeah. But it has been absolutely great to meet you, Aaron, and
pleasure.
Discuss horror. I mean, there's someone that you know yourself. You could talk for days about horror.
Yeah.
You know, and hopefully we can keep this connection now.
Yeah.
And maybe do a few shows on each other's shows here and there. Maybe
Aaron will be joining me about pro wrestling for sure at some point, thanks to Greg.
Absolutely.
Let's go for it.
Yeah. So, Greg, take us home.
Right, lads. Well, that's been our Friday night show for the evening. I'd like a special thanks to Aaron for coming on, Carl and Ian for showing up, and me for showing up. And I will leave you there, and don't get too scared.
And until the next time, I will not leave you with that boring outro. Don't forget to like and subscribe, comment, let us know what you like. You know exactly where to find us. Of course, we're going to put Aaron's socials down in the description in the bio as well. And until next time, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, ghouls, goblins, and everything horror, happy Friday. Until next time, on the slab, we are over and out.